What's that doing here?
You can't tell me that that doesn't look like it's been eaten today. Oh, it's never good when you can hear sirens. I don't even want to look.
From a once popular industry thriving between the mid-19th to mid-20th century, this limeworks facility has been left to decay in the heart of West Sussex. Once home to hundreds of jobs and an important part of developing modern society, all that now remain are the materials and equipment simply frozen in time. They were switched off one day and never to be used again, so we came to see what remained of this unique industrial plant.
Make my way down these steps, which look pretty deadly. Normally going down here in the dark. Now this area's been left for quite some time. I wouldn't be surprised if this isn't here for too much longer. Got graffiti, even got a little cone up there. But we've just found this on the floor. Some kind of old fan, maybe to do with the kind of ventilation of this. Well, looks like kind of a hangar, but not too sure what this would have been used for. Maybe just as a storage area. Back up these rather sketchy looking stairs. So that's the main site there. From what we know, you've kind of got this bigger building that you can access. So we're going to try and make it to that point, but whether it's possible, the fence looks relatively new, so whether that's been put up in the last few days or weeks, we're not too sure. This looks like once upon a time it was kind of a bricked, chalky, sort of stoned road, probably got the main entrance or exit, or both. Whether the limestone was transported, I'm not sure what that is. Have a quick look though. Bit of machinery, looks like maybe a storage room at some point. Looks like we've got possibly an old lorry that would transport materials in and out, as I was saying. Wheels are strangely not looking too bad for the age.
Here's the bottom.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's repairing this anytime soon. Looks like it's just overgrown in there. What have you found, mate?
Well, this must have been the main part. I was saying it looks like a Call of Duty map.
It's crazy. Just buildings left behind, frozen in time. You think about how many people that would have been here working in this plant at one point, and this limestone would have probably gone around all across the country.
So yeah, you can see, look, obviously the old conveyors.
Yeah.
All the control panel, the start and stop.
Oh yeah.
And these are all the main chutes, and they've just slowly worked through until they ended up with the right material at the bottom.
Think of how many thousands of times those buttons would have been pressed.
Oh.
And now just nothing.
One day somebody pressed that button.
And then what's going to happen?
Probably didn't know.
Yeah, going to make our way in here. Probably time to mask up, I reckon. Yeah, there's a closer look. Little bits in there, bits of machinery. Makes you wonder why they didn't try and sort of salvage some of this and maybe take it elsewhere. Yeah, because I'm sure this, before it had been left to rot, this would have been worth a few quid. I think this is like the main area. We've got masks. Looked like there was a bit of asbestos back in one of the other buildings, so we're gonna just play it safe. This is crazy, look at that. I mean,
that looks like it's been open recently.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna.
Those wires look too clean. For 26 years.
That's clearly been opened. That's been opened recently. And obviously all the main instruments are gone.
You've got there a breaker plate. I mean, I'm not too clued up on the ins and outs of all the electrics of a lime works, but someone's been definitely playing around with this. So I think this is probably where the limestone chalk would leave this part of the plant, because everything seems to be coming down from up here, down here, but then you've got kind of what looks like maybe a sort of loading point, loading bay. It's crazy how this is actually as intact after 26 years. I mean, I don't even know, you know, you think over time nature would just reclaim this stuff. I'm not going to try and go up that. I wouldn't suggest anybody that comes here does, but those stairs, they just, I'll head down there and get a closer look. They don't, honestly, for the amount of time, 26 years. I know we keep saying 26 years, but you just thought these would be gone by now. Like it'd at least be a few missing.
I mean, considering they're rusty, it's iron. That ain't bad.
I'm glad you're giving it a go and not me, eh?
Although my shoelaces come on back.
Oh, not the time for that.
I mean, I'm not going on to these because they're absolutely missing.
Yeah, and that one up there is a wooden one, but it's crazy.
It's crazy, but I'm sure all the work then they would have been.
That's it. This would have been once a real busy place.
Probably a tea room up there. It's probably where they had their lunch break.
Yeah, that actually you make a good point there. If you look through that doorway, that is quite a covered up area.
It seems obviously
You could
the
have,
conveyors are shooting through.
yeah,
But actually,
could have been an office potentially at some
well,
point
I'm saying
just through there.
There had to be a control room somewhere, somewhere around here.
But I feel like as we're gradually exploring more, you can kind of get a feel for how big this place actually is. Come across this on the floor, walking past. It looks incredibly fresh. You can't tell me that doesn't look like it's been eaten today. That's another building. Looks like another conveyor belt would have come down off the top of here. Again, it might have been a sort of loading area, dropping materials or picking up materials. It either goes up or comes down here, and the conveyor belt would have come all the way across this metal track and into that building that we just come from. So it appears that possibly all the tracks is daisy chain across the whole plant to get different bits across to where they need to be. It's crazy how 26 years has gone by and most of this is just still here. You know, why would you want to leave a nice set of buildings and materials and all this equipment that remains inside to just go to waste? There's not a lot going on in here. This seems to just be a vehicle door. Not sure why that's in here and not anything else, but what's that? What have you found? The order. And there's a devil above it.
Well, that fits in with the satanic looking candles at the bottom of the stacks. Not that they are, it's just how the chalk's gone, but it certainly gives that sort of cult vibe around here. Look at this ladder. Obviously it's missing all the bottom steps. I certainly wouldn't want to chance that. But it's clearly another entrance. And I think you're right, mate, with saying that there was some kind of office up there.
Yeah.
As the lorries come in, do the paperwork.
That's it. There's got to be something like that around here, otherwise it just wouldn't happen, would it? I really think that we've covered most of this now. I mean, there is a lot to see, and you probably could get a bit higher, realistically. But speaking of that fence again, there it is. But yeah, I think realistically there's not much more we can see. We've kind of covered, I'd say, 90% of what still remains. But it's a shame to see places like this now going to waste. But I wouldn't be surprised, given how new these fences are, if this isn't here for much longer. If you consider how new that looks, that does not look like it's been put up very long ago. So yeah, I think in the next year or two I could see this going. I know it takes a lot in terms of planning to get rid of, especially stuff like what's in there. We really should have had our masks on to begin with going in there, but we didn't realise how much asbestos was in there until we started walking in there. If you're in West Sussex, there's very few places now that are actually left in this state. So I think you've just got to appreciate something like that while it's still here. Realistically, there's not a whole lot to see. You're kind of coming for the buildings, aren't you? That's what you're.
Everything we can definitely get to. Sadly, like I said, mate, is the crusher at the top.
Yeah.
Would have been really interesting to see, because that was the mouth of the whole plant.
Yeah.
But it's just you cannot get to it anymore.
Yeah, they seem to have fenced it off, and it really gives that impression now.
They want people out.
That they want people out, and they want to get this place gone.
Like I was saying, it's the asbestos that takes so long. It's so expensive getting the right people, disposing of it properly. It's why these places lay for so long, because it's such a huge investment to get rid of these.
That's it. You're paying as much to clear it as you are to build on it, and that becomes a bigger problem in itself, doesn't it?
Yeah, if it's not worth enough to sell on to build on, what's the point of spending hundreds of thousands getting it clear? But clearly there's something in the works, and time will tell.